we have all known each other for a very long time, way before Archer ever started. So I've known Lucky since 98, maybe 99.
Yeah.
Was the first time we met. So at this time, I was a shitty fucking college kid that had green hair, okay? And I walked into Dad's garage, and I'd never been there before. I'd never seen a show there. And I was doing Free Parking, which was a sketch show that we were doing at the time. And I was backstage, and the show was happening. And I was in the green room, and there was this fucking amazing looking puppet, which I later came to find out was Boozy the Imp, which had been created by Lucky Yates.
One of a kind, amazing, made from not made to of this earth to last.
Yes.
Held together with masking tape and a prayer, man.
So Boozy was sitting on the makeup table that was also barely attached to the wall that was in the green room. And there was nobody in the green room. I was over there, and I picked him up, and I was looking at him. And Lucky didn't know who I fucking was. Lucky walks into the green room, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you? Put down my puppet." And I was like, oh shit. I put Boozy down, and then Lucky leaves because he's got to get on stage for a sketch. And I go right back to the fucking puppet, and I'm like touching it. And then Lucky walks back in the green room. It's like, what the fuck? I told you to not touch this puppet. And that's how we met. Do you remember that at all, Lucky?
Not one bit.
I'm Amber Nash, the voice of your favorite HR nightmare, Pam Hoovy. We're doing an Archer Rewatch podcast because I don't have a job anymore. This season, each episode is hosted by me and a guest co-host from the main cast. We will be breaking down fan and cast favorite episodes out of order, so get used to it. Welcome to RePhrasing.
The story is that you recommended me.
Yeah, I was recording, and they were like, "Hey, we need somebody to voice this character. Who can you think of?" And I was like, "Lucky," because they all knew who you were already.
Weird.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was the type of thing. I went in there, and they showed me a picture of his head, which is just the Matt and Adam's buddy, Ben Krieger. He's actually a real doctor, Dr. Krieger.
Oh, wow.
Last I knew in the Austin, Texas area, a fine gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who the model, that's who's Krieger's face is, Krieger. So they showed me a picture of the guy, and in the very first, in that episode, Krieger sounds sloshy, because Adam's direction was make him sound like he's got too much saliva in his mouth at all times. And I'm
Weird
like, okay.
direction.
I know, and so we sloshed kind of through, just a little slightly sloppy. And then at the next, and then they were like, we don't know if this will happen. I think the show, were we cutting it that close already? Was the show already on TV? No.
Casey, you'd know.
No.
Yet. But the you knew there were going to be more episodes, right? We were already, the deal had been done where episodes were, you got to do 13 or however many there were in those days.
I don't know, because I feel like we got approved for maybe 3 episodes.
Oh, not even a full season.
I don't remember.
Because
Killing Utney was the 4th episode.
Okay. All I know is it came down to the wire on, they had not gotten an answer from FX one way or the other if I was going to be an acceptable actor for that role. But they had to we got 1 day left in order to record somebody else if you don't tell us if this guy's good or not. And they're like, oh yeah, he's fine. And that was that. And then I just started showing up more. Then I think Adam had fun with a weirdo scientist in the group. So, he just built over years.
Yeah.
I mean, you got into opening credits in season 2.
Yep.
And I was season 5 or something like
Yeah,
that. 6.
yeah, and I do think that Adam just started to have fun with everybody. And what's interesting too, everybody might not know this, that you are the model for Gillette, which was always, for people that knew you, very strange because they'd hear you speaking out of Krieger's head, but then they'd see a blonde version of you in Gillette.
Those are my favorite scenes where
Yeah.
my face is talking to my voice.
Man, there were some good Gillette zingers in this, and Krieger, man. This is such a great Krieger. The one that you chose, Lucky. Great Krieger episode.
I was thinking after I chose this one, it's a great everybody episode, and it's sort of without the landlord. This is our first elevator episode, right?
Yeah.
This is just the gang. This is this is what this is condensed. It's
Yeah,
one
and
little-
let's get into it because we talk about. I reached out to Lucky and I was like, "What is your favorite episode?" And you said Lo Scandalo, which is also totally a fan favorite episode. So I'll read you guys the little synopsis from the Archer wiki. Lo Scandalo is the 8th episode of the 3rd season of Archer. Mallory has the ISIS agents come to her apartment to dispose of the body of the Italian prime minister. It's such a great episode.
Oh my God, it's so great. The cold opening is just so solid. And I watched it last night on my iPad and I had headphones on. And so just like the sound design of it is incredible. Just the music, everything. The backgrounds on this show are so gorgeous, always. Just phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
you mentioned that it was one of our first bottle episodes. And when we get to the dinner party, I wrote
Damn
down
it.
what the casting on this show is just so great. Like when the gang shows up, it's so much fucking fun when everybody's together. It's just like phenomenal. And the casting, like I actually wanted to ask you this question, Casey, because like most shows have a casting director and they do this big casting process, but that's not how Archer got cast.
No. It was just always Adam and me and Thompson figuring out people. But I think also, and Adam could answer this better, but I think like Jessica Walter got cast because he was like, somebody liked Jessica Walter. And then an agent was like, what about Jessica Walter? And he's like, yeah, if she'll do it. So I think it was just a lot of like, let's ask and just see what happens.
I don't remember who was saying. It might have been Adam that was telling me about that very story about getting Jessica, is that ultimately it comes down to actors love to work. Yeah. And if it's a project that they think that sounds interesting, they'll work on it because they love working.
Yeah.
And everybody
So
on the
always
cast,
ask.
everybody on the cast is big time workers. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Judy is always doing some type of movie.
It's weird if Judy Greer doesn't have a movie out.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, she should have made something by now.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't she?
Parnell is always grinding. And
If I had one complaint about this episode, it's that the Parnell ratio is sadly low in it. The Pam,
Yeah,
even
because he's a
Pam
curmudgeon about it, right? I
Right.
feel
But
like if he had somebody had to be, he was
they
the
can't all
most
be-
serial he
Yeah,
could
they
be.
can't all be serial episodes. But if even Amber or even Pam gets the elegant dinner party. What a great, oh man, what a great scene. Oh, but
fucking
yeah, the great
hilarious.
Mallory episode. It's just like the opening just really sets like there's some great animation acting done in that opening sequence.
Absolutely.
So Lucky, what were some of your favorite things about this episode? Why was it your choice to cover?
Well, stuff we've already covered. I think it highlights everybody. You know, Cyril, of course, could be. We could always use more Cyril, but yeah. It highlights everybody so well. Everybody really got to play a lot. And for Krieger, personally, it's sort of his first hero, in quotes, moment. You know what I mean? Like, Krieger comes to the rescue and absolutely delivers for the sort of first time. He's usually just some loose cannon that's gonna fuck something up somehow. But this one, he absolutely takes care of business, and
He gets to use his weirdness for the sake of the gang, right? Like,
Yeah.
pull one off for the gang.
But still sticks them with, you're also guilty for hiding the evidence, so fuck off. That's what I love about him, is it's always some kind of neutral ground. Like, he'll do it for you, but you're going to be hooked.
Another great animation note is the variation on the packaging. Like, you could tell that, like, that one's a head, and that, like, there's a big piece in that one.
Giving the poster tube to Archer at the end with the dildo thing in it.
When we come back from the cold open and you just hear, "Mother, what is in this man's ass?" It's just like he's so impassioned.
Doesn't Italy use a king?
Yeah, use a king.
Atlanta goes her stressing the use a king.
Yeah, no, they don't use a king.
If there's a great do that, you take that tone that starts right at the very Archer says it to Mallory right at the beginning of the episode, and then Krieger gets a callback later.
Yeah, the little callback, fun.
Oh, I had a question about the liquor bottle that's in that scene. Is like old something or another.
It's old. I actually looked this up. It's Old Buncombe, which is a real whiskey that is made in North Carolina. So I was like,
oh yeah, Buncombe.
Well, so for legal reasons,
Buncombe.
You can tell in
Buncombe
the episode
County.
that the drawing on the bottle is not the actual logo. It had been changed. But my question for Casey was if that was pre-Glenn Gooley. It must be before you guys started using the Glenn Gooley reference. Because Archer has its own made-up whiskey in universe called Glenn Gooley.
Yeah, but Glenn Gooley is actually a Scotch, I believe.
Okay.
And Buncombe is... There's no way we did it on purpose, because Buncombe is a county in North Carolina.
The county where Asheville is.
And that's why.
Adam is
Even
from.
the closest up label, you can tell it's all jibbled up so that it's not. But somebody must have tried to figure out what it was based on.
Buncombe County, and the man it was named after is the root of the term calling something bunk. Buncombe.
Man.
It was calling it Buncombe back in the day, and it's because this guy was a notorious liar, politician type that started the county or something.
It's
and
like
so
his
Buncombe
name
is the false thing.
Now, Lucky, how on earth do you know that bit of information?
How do you get it?
Hanging out with my pal Adam Reed, who's from Buncombe County, and I love old-timey terms and words.
Well,
Adam Reed is one of the most interesting individuals on earth. He's so smart and he knows everything, and and we'll have Adam on the show, but he's
the
a very
most
interesting
impossibly
man.
well-read individual you've ever met in your life.
Yes.
Working for Adam Reed taught me a lot. One of the things was that if you're going to give something to somebody to read, don't put mistakes in it, because it only takes one mistake to get a really good writer turned off to your whole thing. It only takes one spelling error, and that you don't want to waste somebody's time. You only have one shot to get that person to read it, so don't blow it.
Speaking of Adam Reed,
I just prove that with him daily, because I'm constantly sending him stupid shit.
Speaking of Adam Reed's writing, one of the lines that I wrote down that I loved is "creepy old people bondage sex police."
Man, it's so great.
So good.
Man, I think it's right at the end of Act 1, but there's a riff of lines that Archer does about wanting meatballs and craving Italian.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a Adam, like the writing of Adam, and then John Benjamin just doing that delivery. It's so.
It's spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
Like the whole phrase spaghetti and meatballs. Saying it several times in a row, and then ending with, "Man, I really want some spaghetti and meatballs."
I didn't get to edit that scene, but just thinking about who did, like, what a pleasure it must have been to just put those little 5 lines together and then go to commercial.
I feel like spaghetti and meatballs reminds me of when people call a backpack a book bag. So like instead of saying pasta, saying spaghetti and meatballs, or like saying cream rinse instead of saying conditioner. It's just like it's like a kid's term almost.
It's an older phrase, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when I was a kid in the 1970s, you carried a book bag.
Yeah.
It was a literal like bag with string, like long strings on it. And backpacks were for hikers and army men.
It had
Yeah.
one, it had one loop. It had a loop for
Civilians.
your stick that you would play stick and loop with.
Stick
so
and
you
hoop.
could-
Yeah. You got a little stick caddy on the
Yeah,
side.
I thought you carried your books with a belt wrapped around it and slung it over your shoulder.
And my lunch in a pail.
Yeah, of course.
We would do our homework on the backs of shovels. It was a great time in the 1900s.
I will say there's a person in Atlanta that nobody listening to this will know who we're talking about, but he is also a puppeteer. I'm talking about Shitty Bedford. And
Oh my God, he builds
the
all
first
my furniture.
time I met him, he was literally sitting on the back of his truck eating a can of beans with the lid as a spoon. And I was like, where did this man come from? Like, he came from the Dust Bowl. He blew in on a dust cloud.
And he and his wife live in a homemade, I dare call it a house, in the North Georgia mountains. It is every bit a just kind of walls in places and sort of plumbing coming from a rain catcher up off grid. They've got a generator if they ever need power.
I'm a sucker for those Hidden America shows where it's like, here's a man who's been building his house for 30 years over and over again.
Yeah.
I have to imagine they'll be on it at some point.
It's on land he inherited from his good friend Steve the Dancing Hermit. This is all a true story.
That's not a real man.
He's a
That is a real
fascinating,
man.
fascinating individual. Okay, back to the episode. I wanted to talk about Savio, and I didn't look up who played Savio, but I will say that there were many, many times throughout the years of Archer that we had to speak in other languages that none of us speak, except for Aisha. For whatever reason, I feel like she's like, oh yeah, I do that. And you're like, what? You do all these things that we didn't know you do?
Because she's like an MIT something.
I know.
Isn't she some
Yeah.
child genius?
She is a child genius.
Well, and there's also the superintendent seemed like a really quality voice for such a small little
God damn
role.
it. That guy. You get like Tiny Tim for a second.
I love that. See, that made me laugh because it set up the whole potato joke.
Oh, the super at the, I was like, the superintendent, the super of the building.
Super. Right, yeah, the super. And it's like, she gives him a potato for Christmas. and then
It's just
she
like
goes,
the classic Irishman's dilemma. Do I eat it or do I wait for it to ferment so I can drink it?
oh, that's so funny. That made me laugh. But then later, when Archer asks for, when he's like, "Does anybody?" Because he's trying to get the salt out of the sauce.
Yeah.
He's like, "Does anybody have a potato?" And Mallory goes, "What is this, Christmas?"
So I don't know, Casey, do you have any idea who played Savio? Do you remember?
Yes.
Look it up on your.
His
top-
name was Luciano
Pavarotti.
Palermi.
Wait a minute.
Palermo.
Pavarotti.
Fucking
We got
actually say
Pavarotti.
his lines speaking. He kept singing them. And we
I
were
don't
like,
know.
look, Luciano.
Adam met him at an opera.
That he had written.
Which
He
was a
didn't
thing
know.
Adam did. He'd meet people and then they'd be in the show the next season. He loved to do that.
Yeah.
There's also a thing that happens with the Italian that's spoken that is kind of a thing that we did a lot in Archer, where we would not subtitle the foreign,
Okay.
Yeah.
Language.
Why was that? Why was that choice made?
because a lot of times Adam didn't want a subtitle, pulling you out of the episode,
Okay.
and a lot of times the foreign language was so you're going to get it through context. you
Yeah.
know? If guys are shooting and yelling,
Interesting.
let's go, you kind of get that in almost any language.
Right.
We really didn't use subtitles until There's
I
a
was just
whole
gonna say,
Krieger
if you don't mind
backstory
me
episode.
Interjecting, I edited the old Krieger World War II flashbacks, which were heavily subtitled, and that was hard because doing subtitling is not great. It's not fun, but it was worth it. Like, it works so well in those scenes. But yeah, it was a specific choice for those scenes.
And a lot of times, Adam was very adamant about getting, if it's an Italian guy, he's like, I want an Italian guy that's going to speak Italian. Right. So a lot of times when we had, Archer and the crew going to different worldwide locations, he'd be like, I want a Chilean,
Is it just because he wanted to take a trip to Chile? And
no, we didn't have that type of budget, but it was just the authenticity of it. I know, because Adam's from the South, and some of us are from the South. He can snuff out a fake Southern accent like that, and it takes him out of it. So it's like another thing. He's like, well, if somebody is Italian watching this, and then they hear a guy doing a bad Italian accent, they're going to be turned off.
I love that. I love that that was always cared for, and there was attention paid to it.
If there's anything close to casting, that would have been you guys. Just like, how do we find a professional Italian VO guy?
Yeah, and we would reach out to our different agents that we had a good relationship with.
That episode that I had to speak so much German, I that's all I did for 2 weeks or something, is just drill and drill and drill all day long. I did not want to be the guy that fucked up this show by doing a lousy job.
And Lucky, did you listen? Did you have were you listening to stuff and then repeating it?
There was a guy named Hans, right? An actor in L.A., a German actor. That they had record all the lines the way, and he was also in it. I think he played the supervisor Nazi or something like that. That Krieger was fucking over. And he did all of my lines for me the way that they would be delivered, and I just drilled them. And German's hard when you go from zero to full dialogue.
Totally.
We had an Austrian guy too that worked for us named Dino, and he was sitting on the couch as you were recording, just giving a nod once in a while.
Yeah, that happened to me too. I had to record several different languages that I am not there's people that are naturally kind of gifted towards that, which I am absolutely not. So it was always very nerve-wracking to get it right.
Yeah, Pam has a whole Tokyo Drifter subplot.
Oh shit, Japanese is also really hard.
Yeah. One of the other things I wrote down that I loved was potato padildo was in this episode.
I wrote that down too.
More potatoes. That's why I'm so upset that the version I watch on Hulu somehow put the potato in the sauce thing. The oversalting was shot.
So was it like a potato-less episode? Did they just cut out all potato references?
No. It was just the stuff about the sauce being oversalted.
Man,
that whole chunk.
They overbooked the commercial breaks, man. Somebody's getting shorted.
Somewhere. Hey, Mr. Hulu.
I blame Doge.
John Q. Hulu, please.
Those scenes got doged.
Put your staff under control.
One of the other things that I really loved about the episode was the what was the suit called again? The type of suit that Mallory says it is?
A zentai.
A zentai. I liked that it was flesh colored, and I love that he's got the outline of his penis and his little paunch are so perfectly natural looking that it's it doesn't take you out of it at all. You're like, that is exactly what this middle-aged man's body looks like in this flesh-colored suit.
So Casey, I know that Archer did a lot of photo referencing. Did you have a person dressed up in a zentai?
Did you take several trips to that kink club you're always raving about?
I think we might have gotten not like a latex suit, but one of those body stocking suits.
Yeah, like a morph suit.
Like a morph suit. I don't remember.
And then you just painted latex.
I don't recall who was in it.
Yeah, that's probably the most appropriate answer. Legally speaking,
Let's just say it was Matt Thompson.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Always
say.
say
I
Matt
want to
Thompson.
remember it as Matt Thompson and that he wore that suit all
I
day.
mean, if anybody would willingly jump into it, it's going to be Thompson on a rando
just
Saturday
to terrorize his employees.
night. Just to run amok.
We shot some live action thing for a C-Lab special feature, and he showed up in the tennis outfit of the country club that he worked at with like a fake mascara mustache, and that's what he wore the whole time he was directing this live action shoot.
What a lunatic.
Oh, Thompson is a notorious trickster. We'll have many stories about.
He is.
I can't
He
wait
is a
until
notorious. This is a terrible prank.
I'm gonna have to pick, man. There's
Please
so
don't do this prank.
A deck of
Please.
cards that you could pick the best story from, and they're all top notch.
The thing you're thinking of doing right now is not going to pay off. Please don't do that.
We talked about how Matt Thompson hates meetings. He hates hats, but he also hates
He
meetings.
hates hats?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is very anti-hat.
And he hates meetings unless it's a meeting to plan an elaborate prank. Then you can cut out 3 hours of a working day to just plan a prank.
That's so funny.
And then they're always like, God damn it. That's what people that are just like at the end, the ones who get paid, they're like, God damn it.
It's never funny. They're never funny.
They never pay
The
off.
planning is fun. The planning is fun.
He legitimately scared Amber the first recording back after the COVID lockdown. We
Is
had
this the parking lot
yeah.
when we all showed up?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll tell this story. I'll probably tell it again when Thompson is on. But it was like lockdown happened the next day, I think, right? Like we hadn't been told we had a lockdown yet, and we were almost done. Or maybe we had been. I don't remember the timing.
I thought it. Yeah.
We were working right up until like the government said you shouldn't work anymore.
Yeah, because we were ending the season. Like we were almost done, and we only had one season left to record. So we went in, but none of us. We still didn't know how it was like transmitted. We didn't really know anything about the disease yet. So we were like, we don't know if it's about touching stuff, about being close to each other. So either Casey or Matt were like, get there, park in the parking lot, don't go in. Just wait until we all get there. We'll all go in together, which is like not what you should do now that we know how COVID works. So we're all like nervously sitting in this empty parking lot. And I think it was March. So it was like cold out. And then we all get there. We all look around. We're all there. So we all open our doors and start walking towards each other in this parking lot, including Matt. And I thought you were there, Lucky. Were you there? Maybe not.
So.
Okay. So we're all walking towards each other. It must have just been me and Casey and Matt. And then Matt just vomits, like violently vomits in the parking lot. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I think he's going to burst into like a pile of blood. Like, I was like, is he falling apart? Like, what is happening? And then I realized that it's coffee. And so he had just put like a mouthful of coffee in his mouth so that he could barf it all over the parking lot to terrify us. It was very frightening.
Yeah. Classic, like, just don't do this.
Yeah.
This is just such a bad idea.
What a
Best
jackass.
boss you could ever ask for.
Oh my
What a
God.
boss.
Yeah, what else you guys got for our episode? There was something I wanted to not forget.
Wait, maybe I've got it on my list.
Okay, all right.
One of the things that I love a lot about this episode is getting to do the fancy voices, the fancy lady voices of the people that would be in this.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. When we were talking about Gillette earlier, that Gillette has some great stuff. Like his pompous, his British, whatever the fuck he's doing, that he's got a monocle.
Nobody cares, Figgis. You're only invited to round out the numbers. It's such a throwaway line.
And I didn't.
So goddamn funny.
I didn't realize until when everybody's leaving and Mallory says, "Put all my clothes back." I was like, "Oh yeah, they all just raided Mallory's closet and they're wearing all her stupid
They
shit."
walked in the dining room and suddenly everybody was dressed up.
So Amber, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Pam's character get a name? It doesn't that highfalutin don't Cheryl and Pam, they come back, right? Those characters.
I
That's not
believe
the only
so, because I remember doing it more than once. Casey, do you remember?
I know they
I
call
don't remember
Lana Calpurnia. Right?
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah.
their names, but in a subsequent episode, you and Judy do the high society ladies again,
Yeah.
and you give each other names.
It might be the one with Calpurnia where she comes back because it's the prince is like chasing Lana, and then it might.
Oh
be
yeah.
Might be that episode.
And we just do like I don't because Judy and I didn't get to hear what we sounded like, and I was not prepared for how stupid we both sounded. Like we weren't even
Jesus.
doing voices that would
One of the
exist.
first lines, Judy drags out like her final word. That it's to such an insane level. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I would say again, that guy, whoever did the detective character, is just like, yeah, okay. It was just
So great.
pitch perfect.
That's
Such
so
a
funny.
classic old-timey police detective, you know, like could have been out of the early 50s, late 40s. It's so great.
It was so fun, like so fun, because it reminds me of an old, like when I used to watch Clue when I was a kid. It was like just a bunch of people fucking around, having a fun time. It was so fun. And we mentioned this earlier, but I had forgotten about the Christmas Carol flashback with the super in the building, and it reminded me of the flashback where we see Archer at boarding school, which also feels like a Christmas Carol flashback to me, which I just think is so great, and I didn't realize had happened several times.
Yeah. Alone at a boarding school.
I believe the voice of that Tiny Tim-like character is Adam Reed.
Oh, you
Really?
Can
Is
tell,
it?
100% it's
Can I get the operation now, Doc? No,
Oh,
son,
you're
you're
gonna
going to
die.
die.
And then he wipes away his tear with the potato.
With the potato.
Like, that wasn't in the scripts. Like, some animator really pushed for this. This is going to be funny. And they do that
It
kind of
is.
stuff all the time. And you just can't always take it, right? I mean, Casey is a producer, so he can speak to it more, but the animators are always trying to make you laugh. And
Yep.
you have to be like, no, constantly saying no. So when you see one that you're like, oh man, they got the potato tear wipe through.
Yeah, I'd get hit up every now and again from, I think, Duncan in backgrounds, where he would ask me, he was like, we're doing Krieger's lab. Do you want anything written on the cases? He would always have sort of
Fun!
a bunch of, storage boxes and shit behind him that were labeled.
I've been
And, we would throw just dumb little silly things in there, maybe a little Inside Dad's Garage jokes or something would chuck in.
Totally. And I've been in those editing sessions where Casey's like, no, we can't put that on.
Sorry. One of the other things that I wrote down about the episode was in the flashback, what is Archer doing to Woodhouse?
I
It's
wrote
like,
the same thing. I wrote
what
the
is
same
happening?
exact thing.
Throwing flour on it.
covered-
Like,
he's
but
got a
why?
handful of flour.
And Woodhouse is shivering.
Why is he
It's
cold?
like,
Why is
this is
Woodhouse
his
Why?
cold?
underwear.
Casey,
Why?
what is it? What is it? What does it mean?
I don't know what the punishment is, but Woodhouse is probably cold because he's probably got DTs because he's a heroin
Right.
addict.
Right. He's dope sick, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But then he had messed something up, and then Archer's punishment was just to throw
Throwing flour. And so
Yeah,
was
like,
the story. Oh, go ahead, Lucky.
I'm going to say, probably before this, I think you threatened Woodhouse that I'm going to make you eat a bowl full of spider webs.
Oh, that's the best, man. That's
It's
the
like, oh
best.
my God.
What a great threat that is to make somebody do.
Rub
And
sand
was-
in his eyes. That was another
And the
punishment that
eyes
he's had.
and
Was
Yeah,
the
that's
story
what I'm
that
talking
he had Woodhouse as his servant from when he was a child? Like he'd had him all
Yes.
this time? Okay.
Yes.
So that's why. It's like he's punishing him like a child would, like eating a bowl full of, like how do you even get a bowl full of spider webs?
He must collect them. And just like he has a secret room in that apartment somewhere that's a Woodhouse torture room. R.I.P. Woodhouse.
But I'll say that we were
R.I.P.
talking about how this is like a bottle episode. There's a great that flashback is in it where they sort of wrap up. Here's the like Hitchcock-esque explanation of all the stuff that happened.
Right.
Right, Mallory's little plan.
Yeah, they kind of do a little bit of a Rashomon where there's a couple of choices, right?
Yeah,
Where-
it reminded me, and it's so cheesy, but the Hitchcock rope, where it's like everything happens in this one little room, but you kind of have different interpretations. But great little wrap up.
Another thing, and you guys all know this because you've all known me for a long time, is that I don't remember anything that I've ever watched or done in my life. And so the question of Archer's father comes up, and I'm like, oh shit, so like what was the deal? Like we never knew who Archer's father was, is that correct? Did we ever find out?
Didn't we kind of allude to or hint that it's, what's his name? They were from the beginning. We all kind of figured it was the Russian guy.
Yeah, and it's never ever. Yeah, it's never fully resolved.
Okay.
And then by the time like the final season came around, and Thompson was like, "Here's what we should do. We should reveal his father." And both Adam and I were like, "I think that story's gone. I don't think anybody cares anymore."
We'll probably say it every episode, but Archer's about him and his mom. And it's always been about Archer and his mom and their relationship. And that, you guys kept true to that every time and always playing around with it. But I can see Thompson like trying to pull a Thompson style craziness. Like now's the time to do it. But yeah, no, it does. That really doesn't matter because it's about Mallory and Archer, right?
100%.
Lucky, was there any other stuff about the episode that you really loved or wanted to talk about or was on your list?
No, it was just, oh yeah, the one thing I had written down was Mallory's talking about the death of Mr. Tweetsy, her non-existent bird, and that's why she's wearing the black armband. I thought that, so just throwing the Mr. Tweetsy in, I thought, like, the dialogue is so full of rich little details like that just are so charming and hilarious, and it makes me laugh every time.
Yeah,
another crazy bullshit episode of everything that's going on or excuses or bird Mr. Tweetsy.
Another little great thing like that you could easily miss is above her toilet is a photo of her or a painting of her dog. That you just see when they open after Krieger's fucking bombed the bathroom. You see the picture of Duchess, and it's just so wonderful.
Duchess is everywhere in that house. Yeah, there's little snippets and portraits of her everywhere, and none of Sterling. And that's even was his code name. We didn't really. That kind of drifted away too, right? Where his code name was Duchess.
But it's just It's just more trauma for Archer, right?
100%. Why he shows up angry about bitching about getting WD-40 when they open the door because it's squeaky.
It's a nickel, mother.
A nickel. So out of touch.
There's a moment where Mallory's in front of the mirror with her jacket open saying she still got it. We used that clip in so many Archer sizzle reels that boom, ba-bam, ba. Like that was such a cool animated moment.
Such a great final Mallory moment for that episode,
But then also she does boom chicka wow wow, and then she makes some other noises after that.
So we had to. Jessica was the ultimate professional. She's so great, and so many of the awesome memories we have of recording her are when there's something filthy written in the script, and then we have to break it to her. So it'd be like, on page 32, what is teabagging? And then we'd have to explain that too. And it's like explaining it to your grandma, and it's really not comfortable. So we were like, this is porno music. And she's like, okay. So never would we give Jessica a line read, but we had to give her, she's like, just tell me what it sounds like. And so we said, bow chicka wow wow. So she did it, but the at the end was all her. She added that in herself.
I was wondering, because it's so perfect. It's so fantastic, because it's not just what you would imagine. It's a little something extra.
That's what years of experience gives you.
She knows what's up.
Another great, as a person who cut up the audio, I got to hear a lot of Jessica just praising Adam's writing. She was always such a huge fan. I know we mentioned it. We'll probably mention it again. But you could tell that she had come in with her script all laid out. And like anytime there was a literary joke of any kind, she was always on top of that.
So Casey, you guys would send her physical scripts each time, correct?
Absolutely, and then she would tab it up and mark
Yeah,
all
do her
mark all
notes
her
and
lines,
all
and she's
stuff.
like, "I have my tabs," and it would just be she was great.
And
Yeah,
also,
your
if I
notes and-
remember, because I got to record in New York one time, and it was the same studio that Jessica and John recorded in. And what was the guy's name, the engineer's name there? Forever, you guys worked with? It's okay.
I
We don't
don't
have to remember.
remember.
But he
Yeah.
was such a great guy. And he had told me that, I think maybe I was right after Jessica or right before her, that she always sat in her recordings, which I always stood. I never, if I even had the option to sit. And so I just always thought that everybody stood when they recorded because that's what I was used to doing. So I was like, oh my God, yeah. And it makes perfect sense. It's just like so sophisticated.
Yeah, she can project without having to stand. That's
Yeah.
Exactly.
She can act the part.
She's
Yeah.
got a developed diagram. Casey.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Casey,
Oh,
do you have any trivia for us?
I do. I do.
Every
Okay.
episode, Casey has to come
So-
up with some Archer trivia.
Yeah. So,
Is this
Lucky,
a challenge to somebody?
it is.
To me?
It is a challenge
Oh,
to you.
okay.
To you. We can. If you don't have it, we'll let you answer first. If you don't have it, then I'll see if I know the answer. Casey obviously knows the
Okay.
answer. So this is trivia that Casey has put together about Lo Scandalo. Casey, is it specific to this
Yes.
episode?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
the category is Lo Scandalo.
That's correct.
Okay.
We talked about Duchess earlier, which, by the way, do people know that was codename Duchess was the original proposed title of the show?
Oh,
Yes, I do know that.
I did not know that.
That was going.
Yeah, the pitch document is called like the Duchess pitch or something like that.
Um,
And Lana's original name was Stella.
Oh,
Casey,
I didn't know that
you-
either.
You're not supposed to give away the trivia factoid.
before I ask the question, no. The question is, Lucky, to cover up some bullet holes, Mallory puts a picture of her and Duchess on the wall.
Yes.
It's a reference to a famous photo. Do you know
John and Yoko Ono cuddling there.
it is that? And who took that photo?
Oh, what's that?
Who took that famous photo of John?
Bonus-
Who took that
bonus-
photo?
Bonus question.
I'm gonna go with Annie Leibovitz.
You're correct again.
Wow, well
Nicely
done.
Nicely done.
All right.
Literally the only famous New York photographer I know by name.
Right?
All right? Yeah, totally.
Who else is there?
Robert Mapplethorpe. That's the only one.
Oh my God!
No, get it off the walls.
How about this one? Lana is called Calpurnia.
Mhm.
Who was Calpurnia historically?
Oh, this is tough.
Oh, she was Julius Caesar's wife,
Correct. And at the time of his murder.
Oh, wow.
and
Was she
also
in on it?
the muse for Louis Jordan's hit song "O Calpurnia."
Wow. That's
Wow.
better than I was going to say. There's also a literary reference as well.
I
Very
love that
good
Lucky
at
is in charge of the applause for his own answers.
Do you know the literary reference too?
For Calpurnia.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Calpurnia was the housekeeper of the Finches in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh,
probably what
which
Adam was
informs this
referencing.
episode.
Yeah.
She's the maid
I
in it.
see.
Well, I think maybe it's a double because
Yeah.
the Italian
Adam's
Prime
a
Minister's
huge
killed.
Louis Jordan fan.
All right, final question.
Okay.
Oh, man. Okay. Did they get? Is this the most difficult?
This is the most difficult, and you'll be awarded points based on how many
Oh
of
my
these
God!
you
Are there
get.
Well, how many points do I have so far?
I don't know. We'll put them in later.
Yeah, we'll put him
Take
in
one
later.
out for not knowing about books.
In this episode, the gang talks about how Ireland was neutral during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the other countries that claimed neutrality during World War II?
And so he gets points for each one he can answer.
Points for each one you get.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent.
There was Switzerland.
Correct.
I'm gonna go with Denmark?
Denmark was not neutral.
Oh, well.
But another Scandinavian country was.
Sweden.
Sweden was neutral.
Nice.
And I don't know who
You
else.
got a buddy from here. You name checked him earlier in the episode.
I did?
Yeah, you talked about you were using his Hulu account.
Oh, Spain. Spain was neutral?
Spain was neutral.
Wow.
Spain?
Also, their
Disappointed in you,
their
Spain.
brother on the Iberian Peninsula,
Oh, that would be Portugal?
Portugal, was also neutral.
Okay. Look where that got him.
Yeah. I can guess these things when you give me hints.
And then
I'm going to assume these points don't really matter.
I'll just give you the other ones. Turkey, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan. Then you had a couple micro-states there. You had Andorra, Monaco, Liechtenstein, San Marino, and, shockingly, Vatican City.
Wow.
Neutral, right.
Hey man, they want Catholics everywhere, no matter what.
Casey, according to the Indiana Jones video game, the fascists have control of Vatican City.
Okay.
Well, according to the unproduced script for National Treasure 4,
Ooh,
I don't know.
I want to read 3 because they didn't produce that one either.
Yeah, I know. That's I already jumped one ahead.
Lucky, I'd like to update you. Your points for this game were 12.
Ooh.
Oh my God,
Ooh,
that's such
very
a
good.
high number of points.
Yeah. Well, the
Top
most points
that,
you can
Benjamin.
make are 20. The top you can make is 20 points.
Okay,
So that's
good.
pretty high.
It's good because there's even a CIA reference at the beginning of the episode, right? Lana and Archer drop some knowledge, which is just Adam writing about political events.
Yep. Gladio and Alan Dulles being.
Oh, right, there's a Dulles.
Yeah, Dulles has dropped. I will say this about my 12 points is that being slightly above average is the key to longevity in this business.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's true. You don't want to be so good that you burn out fast. You just want to be slightly
'cause
above
then
average.
You get the old Chalamet where everybody's sick of looking at him already.
Exactly.
Cupid face.
Another great Archer line, perfect is the enemy of good.
Mmm.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, Lucky. Do you have any?
Good.
Do you have anything that you want to promote? Tell us about. Where can people see what you're up to?
Go, a comic book I wrote with Eric Powell there. The full collection is out. Oh, Casey, do you have one handy? Casey can show you the cover. Lester of the Lesser Gods, the hard cover collection is now out and on stands. Maybe, who knows? It's 18 plus, so don't buy it.
You threw Eric Powell's name away like it was nothing, but he's a very, very awesome comic book artist.
Comic book industry giant and Eisner Award winner Eric Powell.
He's awesome.
Amazing.
Is the Goon, yeah. So the collection is out. So
Sweet.
Go purchase it so that Dark Horse will say, hey, people like this, we're going to make more of them.
Nice. Awesome. Lucky, always a pleasure.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah, this was fun. It was fun to watch the episode again. I haven't not watched an episode. I probably haven't seen Lo Scandalo in, I don't know, a decade. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
since
I know
I've
it was
seen
fun to watch. It's been fun to watch old episodes and remember because I only watched them once when they came out. You know.
Yeah, there were tears in my eye. Like I laughed hard in this episode. It's so funny. Everybody is just so solid.
good.
throughout.
I'm surprised at how filthy the show. It's really dirty.
It really is.
But it was a
It's
10:30
really
at
good.
night cartoon, or 10 o'clock at night cartoon.
It's just shocking to me. But
It's
I
why
guess-
my mom had to write me a letter telling me how disappointed she was in my life choices. This has been Rephrasing, an Archer Rewatch podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at RephrasingPod. Email us questions at rephrasingpod@gmail.com. Please, no pictures of your penis. That's just inviting pictures of their penis, isn't it? Rephrasing is produced by Amber Nash, Casey Willis, and Christian Danley. Our theme song is by Matt Hobbs. I'd like to say a special thank you to Raymond Carr, Jasmine Nash, and Jonathan Strickland. And don't forget, FX's Archer is now streaming on Hulu.
Hi, kids. It's your old pal Lucky. For me, it's the day after we recorded that podcast. For you, this may be immediately after. But dig it. First thing when I woke up this morning, the day after we recorded that podcast, the very first thought that raced through my head was, oh my God, that Louis Jordan song is Caledonia, not Calpurnia. So that's more points off of my total score. But I would like to think that perhaps I get extra credit points for being honest the next day when I realized I had made a mistake. So I don't know where this whole point system is leading. It's already become a competition between our cast. Is there a prize? If there's a prize, I would like to file a formal request for bonus points for being honest. Sorry I screwed that up. I sounded like a smarty pants. Turns out I was a dumb pants.